Hello everyone. Today we will discuss another topic under environmental studies and environmental law. Today we will discuss about Forest Conservation Act 1980 and tribal rights. Here we will also discuss why tribal rights are important because of the enactment of the Forest Conservation Act 1980. The topic to be covered here are introduction, constitutional mandate and Forest Conservation Act 1980, provisions of this act and tribal rights. First Forest Act was enacted in 1927, which alarmed at India's rapid deforestation and resulting environmental degradation. Central government enacted the Forest Conservation Act in 1980 with that respect. This act was enacted to consolidate the law related to forest, the transit of forest produce and the duty to livable on timber and other forest produce. There is a need to conserve forest. The forests are natural renewable resources. They cover nearly 40% of the world's land. Forests are useful for various purposes such as providing food, wood, shelter, maintaining the ecosystem, water cycle of earth and ecological balance, etc. But there has been a reduction in the forest cover throughout the world which is raising concerns. Constitutional mandate and forest conservation. The Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1976 has introduced a new directive principle of state policy, Article 48A, and a fundamental duty under Article 51A Clause G, which talks about for the protection and improvement of the environment, including forest. Article 48A says that protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forest and wildlife. The state shall endeavour to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. Whereas Article 51 Clause G states that it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. The Forest Conservation Act 1980. It was passed with a view to check deforestation. This act covers the aspects left out by the Act of 1927. It aims at putting a restriction on the de-reservation of forest and or the use of forest land for non-forest purposes. Objects and reasons of the Forest Conservation Act. Deforestation causes ecological imbalance and leads to environmental deterioration. Deforestation has been taking place on a large scale in the country, and it had caused widespread concern. The Act seeks to check upon deforestation and de-reservation of forest. The Act contains these provisions. Section 2 talks about restrictions on the de-reservation of forest or use of forest land for non-forest purposes. Section 3 talks about constitution of advisory committee. Section 3A talks about penalty for contravention of the provisions of the Act. Section 3B talks about the offences by authorities and government. Section 4 defines the power to make rules, and Section 5 repeal certain acts and savings. Section 2 talks about restriction on the de-reservation of forest or use of forest land for non-forest purposes. It provides that anything contained in any other law for the time being in force in a state, no state government or any other authority shall make, except with the prior approval of the central government, any order directing that any reserved forest declared under any law for the time being in force in that state or any portion shall cease to be reserved, that any forest land or any portion thereof may be used for any non-forest purpose, that any forest land or any portion may be cleared of trees which have grown naturally in that land or portion for the purpose of using it for reforestation. The term non-forest purposes implies the breaking up or cleaning of any forest land or portion of forest land for cultivation of tea, coffee, spices, rubber, palms, oil-bearing and medicinal plants, or any other purpose other than reforestation, but does not include any work related to conservation, development, and management of forest and wildlife. Now, Section 3 talks about the constitution of advisory committee. The central government may constitute a committee consisting of such number of persons as it may deem fit to advise the government with regard to the grant of approval under Section 2, any other matter connected with the conservation of forest which may be referred to it by the central government. Now Section 3A talks about the penalty for the contravention of the provision of the Act. Whenever contravenes or abates the contravention of any of the provision of Section 2 shall be punishable with simple imprisonment for a period which may extend to 15 days. Section 3B talks about the offences by authorities and government departments. It says that when the head of the department or any authority committed any offence under this Act, or every person at the time of offence was directly in charge, shall be deemed to be guilty of the offence and shall be liable to proceed against and punished accordingly. Now Section 4 talks about the rule-making power. It says that the power to make rules for carrying out the provision of this Act is vested with the central government. Every such rule shall be laid down before each House of Parliament for a period of 30 days. Appeals. The appeal from the decision of any authority under this Act shall lie to the National Green Tribunal. Any aggrieved person may file such an appeal. Now let's discuss about the tribal rights. There are nearly 200 million tribals and other traditional forest dwellers in India who derive their livelihoods mainly from forest resources. In the absence of proper survey, settlement and land record, their customary rights over forest land have been under threat. They are often considered encroachers of the land on which they live. Thus, there is a need for the protection of tribal rights. In many cases, it has been seen that the Apex Code has also ordered for the eviction of the tribal in view of conservation of forest. However, there are certain rights of tribal which have been guaranteed to them. Rights of tribal, the scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers. Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006 is a result of the protracted struggle by the marginal and tribal communities of our country to assert their rights over the forest land over which they were traditionally dependent. This act is crucial to the rights of millions of tribal and other forest dwellers in different parts of our country, as it provides for the restitution of deprived forest rights across India, including both individual rights to cultivated land and forest land and community rights over common property resources. Types of right under this Act are: first, right to hold and live in the forest land under the individual and common occupation for habitation or for self-cultivation for livelihood by a member or members of a forest dwelling scheduled tribe or other traditional forest dwellers. Another right is community rights by whatever name called, including those used in erstwhile princely states, zamindari and such intermediary regimes. The right of ownership access to collect, use, and dispose of minor forest produce, including all non-timber forest produce of plant origin, which has been traditionally collected within or outside village boundaries. Other community rights of uses of entitlements, such as fish and other products of water bodies, grazing, both settled or transhuman, and traditional seasonal resources, access to of nomadic or pastoralist communities. Rights in or over disputed lands under any nomenclature in any state where claims are disputed, rights for conversion of leases or grants issued by any local council or any state government on forest lands to titles, rights of settlement and conversion of all forest villages, old habitation, unsurveyed villages, and other villages in forest, whether recorded, notified, or not into revenue villages. Rights of settlement and conversion of all forest villages, old habitation, unsurveyed villages, and other villages in forest, whether recorded, notified, or not into revenue villages. Right to protect, regenerate, or conserve or manage any community forest resource which they have been traditionally protecting and conserving for suitable use. Rights which are recognized under any state law or laws of any autonomous district council or autonomous regional council, or which are accepted as rights of tribals under any traditional or customary law of the concerned tribes of any state. Rights of access to biodiversity and community right to intellectual property and traditional knowledge related to biodiversity and cultural diversity. So these are the basic rights of the tribal communities.